All right, welcome everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is the 18th of March, 2025, and this is the Finance and Administration Committee and a special meeting of the Board of Directors. EJ Caldwell, our General Manager, could you please determine if we have a quorum?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Director Gloria Gray.
Here.
Chairman Scott Houston.
Here.
Director Desi Alvarez. Director Don Deere.
Here.
Director Tommy Favai.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Very good. Thank you, EJ. Public comment. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak?
Mr. Chairman, we have not received any requests for public comment, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak, please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any requests for public comment.
Presentations. I see no presentations today. Moving on to the action calendar, item 5A is the approval of minutes. So EJ, if you could please take that item.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item begins on packet page 4. For this presentation, we have Desiree Quintero, our Manager of Administration and Board Secretary.
Good morning, members of the committee and board. Approval of minutes can be found beginning on packet page 4. The minutes for the West Basin Municipal Water District Board of Directors meetings are an integral part of the public meeting process. Minutes provide a history of the actions taken at board meetings, which is informative not only for members of the public, but for other stakeholders as well. Minutes for the February 24th regular board meeting and the February 26th special board meeting have been attached for consideration and can be found beginning on packet page 6. With that, I would like to read the recommendation that the board approve the February 24th, 2025 regular board minutes and the February 26th, 2025 special board minutes. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Desiree. Any questions from anybody? And Director Gray, any questions?
No questions, Chairman. Thank you.
Great. So hearing none, I would recommend this moves to the full board for approval. And Director Gray, do you concur?
I concur.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. All right. Next, EJ, is action item 5B as in boy, consider sponsorship of fiscal year 24-25 community outreach events. There are at this point 10. However, I'm going to withdraw item number 10, the Black and Mayberry, because that event is moving to a location outside of our service area. So I'm taking that off. We'll look at items 1 through 9. I know it's a lot, but if our staff could please expedite that when we get there. So EJ, if you'd like to introduce this item. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item begins on packet page 15. For this presentation, we do have a tag team here. We have Haza Vasquez, our Deputy Board Secretary, and Kaya Yoshida, our Administrative Assistant.
Hey, good morning, Chairman Houston, members of the Committee of Board. As EJ mentioned, this item does begin on packet page 15, and we do have quite a few, so if at any point you'd like to stop us, just let us know and we can take a pause.
Okay.
I'll start us off with a few, and then I will hand it over to Kaya, who will finish off. So the first one I have for your consideration, and you'll find this at the bottom of packet page 15, the Venice Marina LAX Lions Club is hosting its annual bingo fundraiser and barbecue dinner on Saturday, April 5th, 2025. Director Houston is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Venice Marina LAX Lions Club annual bingo fundraiser and barbecue dinner in the amount of $250, and that would grant West Basin a booth or table to distribute district information. We have previously sponsored this event, most recently in fiscal year 23-24, and that was in the same amount of $250, and we received similar benefits at that time. To see additional information regarding the sponsorship request, you can turn your attention to packet page 21. The next item I have for you today is the City of Hawthorne. They are hosting their 2025 Business Expo and Job Fair on Thursday, April 24, 2025. At this time, Director Deere is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Business Expo and Job Fair in the amount of $1,000. And that would grant West Basin a booth or table to distribute district information at the event. In addition to that booth or table opportunity, the sponsorship also includes logo placement at the event and recognition on promotional emails, as well as social media posts. West Basin has sponsored this event in the past, most recently in fiscal year 23-24, in the same amount of $1,000, and also received the similar benefits of a booth and those added advertising opportunities. Information regarding this request can be found in attachment B, and that begins on packet page 25. The next one I have for you is the Volunteer Center's Heart to Heart Gala. They are hosting this gala on Friday, April 25th. Director Houston is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Heart to Heart Gala event in the amount of $1,000, and that would grant West Basin an advertisement promoting district awareness. Just wanted to also point out that the sponsorship does include 2 tickets to the gala and additional recognition in their quarterly e-reports. West Basin has not previously sponsored this event, but additional information regarding this year's request can be found in attachment C on packet page 31. Another item for you, the US Vets Inglewood is hosting its annual Steps for Vets 5K event on Saturday, April 26th. Director Gray at this time is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the annual Steps for Vets 5K event in the amount of $2,000. That would grant West Basin a booth or table to distribute district information, as well as an advertisement promoting district awareness. In addition to those benefits, the sponsorship would also include 5 runner registrations. So if anyone would like to go and run a 5K, there may be 5. We have not sponsored this event in previous years, but information regarding this year's request is included in attachment D, and that starts on packet page 43. The last one I have before handing it off to Kaya, the Helping Elders Live Productively, also known as HELP, is hosting their Oceans 2025 Gala benefit on Saturday, April 26th. At this time, Director Houston is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Oceans 2025 Gala benefit in the amount of $1,000, and that would grant us an advertisement promoting district awareness. This sponsorship would also include 2 tickets to the event, as well as recognition throughout their event materials. West Basin has previously supported this event, most recently in fiscal year 23-24, via a sponsorship in the amount of $1,000. And at the time, we received an advertisement as well. Information regarding this year's request can be found in attachment D, and that is on packet page 49. Unless you have any questions for me for any of those items I've just listed, I can hand it off to Kaya to finish off.
Any questions on those? I don't have any. Any questions, Director Gray?
What's the total amount for all of them, and what's our balance after that, or is there a balance?
Sure. We're still going through some more, so we'll just, we'll hold on that.
Okay.
Is that okay? Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. Okay, go ahead.
No question.
Hazel. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll actually be handing it over to Kaya now and she'll finish off.
Perfect. Thank you.
Morning, Houston, and members of the board. I will pick this up on packet page 17, starting with the Alpena Falls Foundation, who has invited West Basin to sponsor the annual Community Partners Program in support of the Spring Job Fair that'll be held on Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. Director Houston requests consideration for West Basin to sponsor this program in support of the Spring Job Fair in the amount of $2,500, which would grant West Basin a table booth to distribute district information at the event. West Basin would also receive recognition and logo placement throughout the year. West Basin supported this program most recently in 2024 via a sponsorship of the Distinguished Alumni and Gratitude Awards in the amount of $2,500. And more information regarding this sponsorship request is included in attachment now. Next, we have the El Segundo Education Foundation, who's hosting its annual Ed Gala on Friday, May 9th, 2025. The Houston requests consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Ed Gala in the amount of $1,350, which would grant West Basin an advertising promoting district awareness. We would also receive 5 VIP seats to the event. West Basin previously sponsored this event in fiscal year 23-24 in the amount of $2,500, which granted West Basin similar benefits. And information regarding the sponsorship request is included in attachment G. Next, we have the Mary Poppins musical presented by the Dodson Drama Department of Dodson Drama Booster Club, which is scheduled to take place May 16th through the 18th, 2025. That is a via request consideration for West Basin to sponsor the Mary Poppins musical in the amount of $1,500, which would grant West Basin advertisement promoting district awareness. And West Basin has not sponsored this event in previous years. More information regarding this sponsorship is included in attachment H. Next, we have the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, who's hosting the annual Armed Forces Day 5K for Freedom Run Walk on Saturday, May 17th, 2025. The Houston request consideration, West Basin to sponsor the 5K for Freedom Run Walk in the amount of $200, which would grant West Basin a booth table to distribute information. West Basin previously sponsored this event in 23-24 for $100, which also granted West Basin a booth at the event. And more information regarding this sponsorship request is included in attachment I. And since there's been changes to the Black and Mayberry's event, I can move on to physical impact.
That's fine. Mhm.
The funds for the sponsorship of and participation in community outreach events are included in the fiscal year 24-25 community outreach budget in the amount of $75,000 with a current balance of $35,150. Approving the sponsorship of the event as requested totaling $13,800, but that would have been including the $2,500 for Black Mayberry. Would leave the remaining balance of $21,350 as shown in attachment A. And once you have questions, I can read the recommendation for the 9 items.
Yeah, let's,
Just, sorry,
Go ahead.
before we go into the recommendation, just to give updated numbers on that budget. So with the Black and Mayberry's event, as you know, they're in the fiscal impact on packet page 9. We had mentioned $13,800. Without that event, these requests total $11,300. So approving the sponsorships as requested in those amounts would leave a remaining balance of $23,800.
perfect. Okay. Let's do this. Why don't you read the recommendations and then if we have any discussion, we will do that.
Recommendation number 1, Dr. Houston recommends the board approve sponsorship of the Venice Marina LAX Lions Club annual bingo fundraiser and barbecue dinner being held on April 5th, 2025 in the amount of $250. Number 2, Director Deere recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the City of Hawthorne's Business Expo and Job Fair 2025 being held on April 24th, 2025 in the amount of $1,000. Number 3, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Volunteer Center's Heart to Heart Gala being held on April 25th, 2025 in the amount of $1,000. Director Gray recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the U.S. Vets Inglewood's annual Steps for Vets 5K being held on April 26, 2025 in the amount of $2,500. Number 5 is Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Helps Oceans 2025 Gala Benefit being held on April 26, 2025 in the amount of $1,000. And number 6, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the El Camino College Foundation's 2025 Community Partners Program in support of the Spring Job Fair being held on April 30th, 2025 in the amount of $2,500. Number 7, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the El Segundo Education Foundation's 13th Annual Ed Gala being held on May 9th, 2025 in the amount of $1,350. Number 8, Director Pavai recommends that the board approve sponsoring the Dodson Drama Booster Club's Mary Poppins musical being held May 16th through the 18th, 2025 in the amount of $1,500. And number 9, Director Houston recommends that the board approve booth participation in the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce Armed Forces Day 5K Freedom Run Walk being held on May 17th, 2025, $100. And as it stands, the recommendation, Director Houston has recommended that the board approve sponsorship of the Black and Mayberry's 2025 Juneteenth Festival being held on June 21st, 2025 in $2,500. Change.
Okay, so obviously number 10 will not be on there anymore, right? So we're Xing that. Okay, So I'm going to open up to any questions. I will say, I think that these are all very worthy and responsible sponsorships that are being asked for by the Board of Directors today. I will also note, even with the LCM Ed Foundation, as much as I really support them, I have looked at that cost and we're doing half the sponsorship versus last time, a table of 5 instead of 10. Just because we also know it's very difficult on a date like that to get folks to be able to participate, but I still want to support the Ed Foundation. And then the other thing is the cost on a lot of things have gone up. I know everyone's aware of that. So I certainly, when people are bringing sponsorships to me, I'm being really, really cognizant and or seeing if there's any flexibility with folks. So I just want my colleagues to know that. And it is unfortunate that the Black and Mayberry event is not going to be in El Segundo now. I was just informed of this as well. They're moving it up to Venice for the nature of what they're doing. And so for that reason, we're not going to support that this year, which means it does free up some funds in this pot, if you will. I'm hearing Manhattan Beach is going to be looking at doing something. I do not know affirmative, but we have supported Juneteenth in El Segundo the last couple of years. They were one of the first in the South Bay to do it. So I will just say personally, it's sad that we're not going to have that presence. Again, Manhattan Beach might do something. Otherwise, to my knowledge, most of our South Bay cities really don't do much for Juneteenth. But if you all hear things, or Supervisor Mitchell or anybody else does something, and they approach us, of course, I think we would entertain that if it's in the service area. So all that to be said, I'm supportive of everything as it is. But let me ask if any of my colleagues have any questions on these. Now's the time. Director Fabai, any questions?
No questions.
No? Okay, and I did see that you put something in here. That's good. Director Deere, any questions? Wonderful. And Director Gray, any questions?
Yes, thank you. I think I heard all the conversations, so number 10 was deleted because they moved the event, correct? Is that correct?
Yes,
So we're only looking
Yes.
at 1 through 9.
correct.
And what is our budget for sponsorship? I know this is March, so we have until the end of June, correct? So what's our budget for sponsorship?
Yeah, let me have Haza, if it's okay. Haza will tell you what is still left if this gets approved. So Haza, go ahead.
So the total budget is $75,000. We currently, without these that are listed, have $35,150 available. The items that are listed here minus the $2,500 that were requested for the Juneteenth festival, those actually total, what did I say earlier?
300.
11,300.
Mhm.
Yeah. 11,300. So if all of these were approved for the amounts requested, it would leave a remaining balance of $23,850 to get us through June.
End of June.
End of June.
Okay, let me make sure I heard because you said a lot, but thank you. Our budget was $75,000 when we started the fiscal year, correct?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. And
Yes.
so if we approve 1 through 9, we will have 21,000 left. Is that what you said?
23,850.
If we approve items 1 through 9, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I see some other sponsorships on the agenda, item C. Okay,
Although
I do
those will
think they
be-
were the cost.
Those will be out of a
Right.
different pot. Director
Okay,
Gray.
get to know that. Good, well, I do agree that these are worthy programs to sponsor. I always support sponsoring, and I think many of you do on the board, support community organizations that do good work in the community, and it's our way of partnering with them and getting the word out about West Basin. So thank you for the information. I just want to know what we have left for the next few months. Thank you. I support it
Great.
moving forward, Chairman.
Okay,
Got
great.
it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yep, yeah, thank you, Director Gray. And I think in that on that too. We're tracking pretty well to get us to the end of June. So we still have, if these all got approved next week, $23,850 for the director sponsorship or community outreach events. So I think, again, we're really being cognizant financially and parsing out our resources. And of course, lastly, at this time of year, that's when, yes, a number of these start coming up because it's spring, it's going into the summer, it's especially those education foundation types of events. So we do get a little bit of a stack of things here, but I think we're in a good place. And we've all been watching our pennies. So with that, staff, you heard, we'll move all of these forward with the recommendation of yes, per Director Gray, President Gray, and myself. And I want to say thank you to staff for helping with all of this and managing it. I know it's a lot that comes into your wheelhouse, but we do appreciate that. And so let me move on to our next portion, which is item 5C as in cat. Consider fiscal year 2024-25 district sponsorship requests. And EJ, if you can introduce that item and just remind us, this is a separate budget pool that we pull from.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. This is part of our district sponsorships, whereas the organization, West Bay Municipal Water District, works collaboratively with a bunch of different organizations and oftentimes finds opportunities to promote our brand and coordinate and help out these organizations. And so with that, I'll introduce item C. And for this presentation, we have Carla Hewitt, our executive assistant, and this does begin on packet page 91.
91.
Placed here. As EJ mentioned, this item begins on page 91 of your agenda packet. And the first request would be the Earth Day celebration organized by the Los Angeles County Sanitation District. This is a free community event with an educational focus open to all ages, presented in partnership with the Clean Water Works Education Foundation. The event will take place on Saturday, April 12, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the LA County Sanitation District's facility in the city of Whittier. Sponsorship opportunities available this year range from the bronze level at $1,000 to the platinum level at $10,000 and above. The district has previously sponsored this same event in years 2023 and 2024 at the bronze level. And if you would like additional details, those are available to you in attachments A and B, begin in page 94 of your packets. Sanitation districts are a public agency focused on converting waste into resources like recycled water, energy, and recycled materials. Their service area encompasses about 78 cities and unincorporated areas, a portion of which overlaps with West Basin's own service area. Though I do want to mention this event technically happens outside of our service area in the city of Whittier. Moving on to the second request, we have the annual professional development conference organized by the Society of Women Engineers, Los Angeles section. This will take place on Friday, April 25th at the Arizona State University California Center, Broadway in the city of Los Angeles. This year, the conference theme is Innovate Her, Leading the Charge in STEM. And we can see that available sponsorship packets begin at $1,400 at the silver level and go all the way up to the gold level for $5,000. West Basin has not previously sponsored this event, though it's already engaging with these organizations for other activities such as visits to our water recycling facility in Oswego, one of which is scheduled for later this month. Additional information on the conference specifically can be found on attachments C and D, which begin in page 100 of your packet. And just as a brief overview of what this organization does, the Society of Women Engineers is a nonprofit educational service organization dedicated to supporting women engineers and encouraging women to consider the engineering field when thinking about a career. The Los Angeles section specifically has over 900 members and is one of the largest of the society's 400 plus sections. All proceeds from the Professional Development Conference go towards funding scholarships for female students at various prestigious organizations, some of which are listed in the report. And then last on today's deck, we have the 15th Annual Groundwater Festival organized by the Water Replenishment District. This is another free community event with an educational focus, open to all ages, and this will take place on Saturday, May 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at their headquarters in the city of Lakewood. The event can be sponsored at various levels this year, beginning with in-kind sponsorships, which don't really carry a dollar amount, but are more of an item donation basis, which is not typically something that we do, going all the way up to the platinum level, which is actually sold out for this year. That said, the district has most recently sponsored this event in 2023 and 2024 at the partner level for $3,000. And I do want to mention in the information that we received for this event this year, there was a missing deadline, which was an accidental omission on the organizer side. Their deadline for logo and promotional materials is actually March 20th. That means that by the time the board makes a determination on this event, and should it be positive, we may not have the ability to include our logo in some items that are available at the water level and above. So just something to consider, that our ability to leverage the full spectrum of benefits may change based on their vendor deadline. Further information on this year's edition can be found in attachments E and F on page 112 of your packets. And some more background information. WRD is the largest groundwater agency by population in the state of California, managing and protecting local groundwater resources for 4 million residents in 43 cities, many of which are also within West Basin's service area. Now, moving to the benefit that sponsorships bring to West Basin, participation in outreach events provide West Basin opportunities to connect with the communities it serves, create and strengthen relationships with stakeholders, and stay up to date with new industry trends. As for the fiscal impact, funds for the proposed sponsorship are included in the fiscal years 2024-2025 sponsorship budget in the amount of $55,000, with the current balance being $6,500 as shown on attachment G on page 117. So we are down to about 12% of our total budget. And I do want to mention, as part of this packet, staff has prepared comparisons to illustrate the difference between the sponsorship packages offered for each event. So if it pleases the committee and board members as you discuss these items, this resource is available to you on pages 99, 111, and 116 for the event. And lastly, I will make the recommendation that the board consider approving sponsorship of the LA County Sanitation District's Earth Day celebration to be held on April 12, 2025 in the city of Whittier, and determine the appropriate sponsorship level. The Society of Women Engineers Los Angeles Section Professional Development Conference to be held on April 25th, 2025 at the Arizona State University California Center Broadway, and that it determines the appropriate sponsorship level. And the WRD 15th Annual Groundwater Festival to be held on May 3rd, 2025 in the city of Lakewood, and that it determines the appropriate sponsorship level. That concludes my presentation, and with that, I welcome any questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could add something in relation to item C1. First and foremost, we were contacted by the LA County Sanitation Districts related to this event. And I really want to stress the fact that LA County Sanitation Districts are our true partners. They are true partners to Metropolitan Water District. We work with them day in and day out. However, for your consideration, I did want to point out that Earth Day and Earth Month is extremely busy for West Basin Municipal Water District. We have 17 municipalities and unincorporated portions of LA County. Our staff does an amazing job of spreading ourselves thin throughout our service area to be at and impact our communities with every opportunity possible. However, this event being in the city of Whittier would be an additional event far outside of our service area. And I would have to prioritize the events that we have on our current list and the list that is continuing to grow. So while I would highly recommend that we continue to partner with LA County sanitation districts in any opportunity possible, I think that this Earth Day celebration might spread us a little too thin. So I wanted to note that. I know our board of directors is always supportive of them and everything that they're doing here in the city of Carson. But I did want to say that we would have a very difficult time being active at that event.
Okay, anything else?
Not on my end. I'm just open to any questions that you may have regarding this event or any of the others.
Perfect. Okay. So I want to say thank you and thank you for those comments, EJ. I'll express what I am sort of thinking, and then I'll, of course, have my colleagues chime in. I did want to ask, how much did we provide WRD last year? Do you recall?
$3,000.
It's 3,000. Okay. So I believe that as much as I love LA County sanitation districts, of course, it is outside our service area. I don't know that many of our residents will be attending, so I think we should pass on that opportunity. I think that we should sponsor WRD again at the partner level, the $3,000, which we did last year, right? Last year we did 3,000. And I think that is consistent and works for us. And then I'm really interested and excited about the Society of Women Engineers. Of course, I've been familiar with them since I was younger. And this sounds like a great conference that's happening. And it looks like even at the lowest level, we get a table, 7 seats, apparently.
This is correct, and it's not, though there is a networking component in the event, this table would mainly be located at the same venue where the professional sessions are happening. So the benefit is meant to be used by somebody that has a professional or education interest in the conference and the conference topics specifically. So
Right.
in that sense, it would be maybe a little bit different to a community event or something that is less specific in nature, if that makes sense.
Well, I guess, would some of our staff be able to attend? Does this mean we get seats at this table? What does this exactly mean?
The table comes with 7 seats, and the seats alone, in a way, if we were able to fill them, would be even with the cost of the sponsorship, because each ticket for the conference is $200. So we would get that, and then in addition, the exposure within the event. However, I wouldn't necessarily be able to speak about their ability to fill 7 seats in a professional development conference at this point.
Right. No, well, for what it's worth, I think we should support this. I think that, it's nice that they happen to have the availability of some seats. And if it does get approved by the board, that potentially some of our staff may be able to attend, EJ, or a director, whoever wants to go. But, to me, that the fact that you can get seats, I think, is just a nice addition when it comes to just plain supporting it. So I would recommend we support at the silver level, the $1,400. So to repeat, I'm suggesting WRD for the $3,000 level, the Society of Women Engineers at the $1,400 level, which is the lowest. And I think we should pass on the LA County Sanitation District's event in Whittier. So that's what I think, but I'd like to hear from any of my colleagues if you have questions or anything different. So let's see, Director Deere?
No,
Director Butler? No. Okay. Director Gray?
Yes, I think what you proposed was adequate. I agree with the silver because I looked to see what we get, and we get basically the same thing unless we're going to be a keynote speaker. And I don't think we're interested in that. That's for the conference. WRD certainly support them. They support us on our different events. I agree with LA County Sanitation. It's not in a service area, and so I agree with those recommendations, what you proposed, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you, President Gray. So with that, staff, you've heard what the two members of the committee suggest, so please move that forward to the full board agenda. And Carla, I do want to say thank you for this sheet, because at first when I saw it, I thought it was just part of what they had put in here, but you did this. And these are really convenient to look through and see what the price points are and the benefit levels. So I like this. So thank you very much. Worked really well. Okay, so with that, my agenda here. Thanks again to everybody. I know we had a lot on sponsorships today. So let's move forward with item 5D as in dog. Amend agreement W2913 with Rogers, Anderson, Malady, and Scott LLP for financial audit services. EJ.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item begins on packet page 118. And for this presentation, we do have West Basin's Chief Financial Officer, Wendy O'Kelly.
Jay, good afternoon, Chairman Houston, members of the board and committee. The item before you found on page 118 in your agenda packet does follow the California Code section 53891, which requires government agencies to be audited by an independent public accounting firm. So on March 31st of 2025, this agreement, the current agreement with Rogers, Anderson, Malady, and Scott, or considered RAMS, is scheduled to expire. They did finish their audit cycle, which was for the fiscal year 2023-2024. What we have before you is an additional year covering fiscal year 24-25 year-end processes. Just to provide some context, the audit process generally starts in March through May, which begins our interim audit. And then thereafter, that leads us into our final audit, which would occur this year, September through October of 2025, to close down our financial statements. The approval of the amendment attachment A is found on page 120. It would provide the district the opportunity to send out an RFP for auditing services beginning with fiscal year 25-26 instead of beginning with fiscal year 24-25. It will provide the finance department, to receive bids, proposals that are not going to be based on a sense of urgency to secure an auditing firm quickly. And then also there's a benefit to using this extended period to ensure continuity with RAMS as our current auditor, also taking into consideration newer staff, myself and the accounting supervisor that has come to West Basin, just to make sure that that institutional knowledge and that history is passed on to each of us as well. So if I may, I can read the recommendation. The recommendation is for the board to authorize the general manager to amend the agreement with Rogers, Anderson, Malady, and Scott LLP for financial auditing services through fiscal year June 30th, 2025 in the amount of $58,020.
Very good. Let's see, first of all, how long have we been working with them?
So with the current auditor, the contract term was for 5 years, 3 years and a 2-year optional, which the district took advantage of all 5 years.
I recall, yeah, they've been with us for quite a while. And I see in the write-up, of course, because of, we've had staff changes and some other things. So here we are, we're going to extend this temporarily, if you will, to end it out before we go out to bid. Which I think is probably our smartest idea in the midst of just everything. But with that, and Wendy or EJ, I mean, when we go out to bid, are we going to go out to bid for, what do we go out to bid for, a 3-year or a 5-year contract? What do we try to get?
Yes, most of the proposals will be for 5 years. The contract is written, it generally is for a 3-year audit term with 2-year optionals, extending it to that 5-year.
And then my last question too is, how do we make sure we don't get in a situation like this again? Because I mean, there's the fiscal year, there's the calendar year. I mean, when you all go out to bid, how can you try to make sure we don't get caught in a bind like this when the next contract comes up?
Mr. Chairman, I'll handle that question because I think that this is something that unfortunately needs to happen because I've instructed staff not to extend any of our current agreements for future years. And I guess in contacting this firm and trying to get through, potentially helping us out with this audit so we could go through that RFP process. There was a question as to whether they wanted 2 years or whether we could just extend them and move forward with 1 year rather than extend it that 2-year period. This, I think, was our best option so that we can go through that RFP process. All of our finance agreements have been in place for some time. I would like to see all of those competitively bid, but unfortunately with the scheduling and the timeline for our audits, this one is kind of caught in between. So the recommendation from staff is to extend it for 1 year, but I assure you that all of the agreements, including our bond counsel and financial advisors, will be going out to RFP and be competitively bid. That does not mean that there will be changes to those firms. That means that we'll check the market, see what's available to us and see what those costs are. But unfortunately, this one is kind of caught in limbo. And so I support staff's recommendation, but I would tell you that in the future, we would do everything that we can to avoid this issue moving forward.
Very good. And I see obviously this extra amount of money that's required. It says at least audit fees were adopted in our 24-25 overhead budget, right? So we're financially, we have funds. So personally, I mean, I support this. I don't think we have much of a choice. I think they've done good work from everything I've seen over the 5 years. And I do understand that we just need to get through this point. And I agree with what the general manager said, that we need to look at, going out to bid as things start coming up to an end. So that's my perspective. But with that, let me open up to my colleagues. If you got any questions about this, Director Savak?
Yeah, I have a question. EJ, how long is the process when it goes out to RFP? Is there like a normal process?
It's just the preparation of the RFP takes some time. Then we leave it, noticed for about 30 days at least. And then we have interviews, review of those proposals, interviews, selection, and bringing it back to the board. And I think what we heard from Wendy is that that normal audit process is from March to May. And hence the reason why we need to move forward with having an audit firm for that period. Otherwise, my preference would have been to delay it and go through that RFP process, which we will in fact do. But because of that timeline, we're limited as far as our options.
Thank you. Director Deere, anything?
Oh, thank you.
Director Gray, any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So with that, I would recommend this moves forward to the board with a recommendation of yes. And Director Grady, you concur?
I concur.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. All right, so now we,
Mr.
go ahead.
Mr. Chair, are those the only action items because I have to leave? I think just
Yes.
information is that, so
Yes.
you don't need me as a member, right?
We always need you, but no,
Oh,
we can handle the business from here. But you are right. That was the
Okay.
last of the action items. So thank
Okay.
you, Madam President.
Thank you so
And
much. Thank you.
the rest is just information.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so this really is the last item on our agenda, if you will. So item 6A of our information calendar is our monthly financial report. EJ.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item begins on packet page 123. And for this presentation, Stephanie Clemente Finley, our accounting supervisor.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, committee chair, directors, and staff. As required by West Basin Municipal Water District Administrative Code, staff is required to submit various financial reports to the Board of Directors to keep them apprised of the financial condition and future needs of the district. So starting on page 125, we have our monthly demands list for February. Our total disbursements, the report goes from 125 to 128. And so on 128, we have our summary here. And total disbursements for February is 17.9 million. Payment to Metropolitan Water District accounted for 59% of the total disbursements at 10.5 million. And payment for Veolia accounted for 20% of the total disbursements at 3.6 million. And the remaining disbursements is 3.7 million. Any questions in regards to this demands list?
Let's see, any questions, Director? I don't have any at this time.
Okay.
Very good. Okay.
On page 30 is the cash and investment report, which outlines the total market value of our investments, which is 58 million, and it breaks it down by security types, market values, and percentages. Additionally, the report also includes details on our credit quality and maturity for these investments. The total market value of the investments is 58 million. This is the combined value of all the assets held in the portfolio. The report will list various security types with each market value and percentages it represents in the total portfolio. And then going down to page 131, we have the credit quality. This section provides that indicates the risk level of the securities. This helps us evaluate the safety and risk associated with the investment in the portfolio. And then on page 132, we have our maturity distribution. And in this section, we list each investment due to its maturity. This can be help assess liquidity and how long the investments are tied up before they are redeemed or repaid. Any questions in regards to the cash investment?
Questions? Go ahead.
On page 133, we have our imported potable sale. Our February sale is 5,277 acre feet. This is higher both in fiscal year 24 and the budget for this year. Year-to-date sales are also higher than both fiscal year 24 and budget for the same period. Scrolling down, we have our February imported barrier, which we came in at 475 acre feet. This is lower than both FY 25, fiscal year 24, fiscal year 24 and the budget. Year-to-date sales is 5,669 acre feet, and this is higher than both fiscal year 24 and budget year-to-date. And going to the next page, which is page 134, is our recycled water. February sales is 2,293 acre feet. This is higher for both fiscal year 24 and budget for February. And then year-to-date sales, we are at 21,506 acre feet. This is higher than FY 24, but just 96 acre feet under budget for this year. Any questions in regards to our sales?
Just give me a second, if you will. Any questions on recycled water sales? I don't think you called out on the bottom charts, did you, was the refineries and the
So yeah,
barrier?
that's
or-
the
okay.
breakdown of our recycled water sales. So we have barrier for fiscal year 25 at 870, refineries at 1,306, and disinfected tertiary is 117, which is a total of 2,293 for February.
But we seem to be tracking pretty well overall. All right, any questions? Very good. All right, thank you. You can,
And our last is our travel report, starting on page 135. For the director's travels, we spent $19,562.65 of the budget of $75,000, leaving a remaining balance of $55,437.35. And our final page, 136, executive management and staff travel, we spent $53,368.16 of the $101,000, leaving a remaining balance of $47,631.84. And this concludes my report. And if you have any questions, we are.
all right, any questions? On our financial? Amen. All right. Let's see, I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you, of course, for these great reports. But on the other hand, the fact that I think all of us have been really being cautious financial condition of the agency, including those travel budgets, including our executive staff and all of you, just being cognizant as we get through the fiscal year. So I do want to say thank you. I know that we will have budget workshops starting to come up, and so we're going to be getting into those discussions. So we are very aware of that. But with that, we'll move on. There's no closed session. Item 7. Item 8 is director's comments or future agenda items. I will start with Director Deere. Any comments?
Very good, very good.
Very good. Director Lava.
I might just have to say, I have to do more traveling. Got to keep up with the rest of the directors.
You're on the record now. Just kidding.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, very good. Again, all I could add is, I just want to thank the staff for everything. As well as my colleagues, when we look at the different programs that we're supporting. And we're also looking forward to our budget discussions and seeing where we're at. And I am glad again that we have been conservative in our planning from last year going into this year, just to be cognizant. So we're not thinking we have more resources than we really had. And so I'm sure that you're going to keep us in that trajectory as we plan for the next fiscal year and beyond. So thank you for that. So it looks like we don't have a date here, I don't think, for the next meeting. Do we? Do we not have a date here on this?
Ratify standing committees at Monday's board meeting, and then we will have dates.
Okay, got it. Okay. So we will have a meeting sometime in April of this committee. We just don't know yet when. And so with that, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.